Welcome to the Barroom Network and Weekend Sports Betting Tips. My name is John Santucci. Call me Tooch. I got Anthony from PoundedSports.com with me tonight as usual. Anthony, Friday night we got a couple games tonight and a lot of games tomorrow.
Yeah, and unlike week one, week two is pretty ugly. I mean, in my opinion, it doesn't look anything near how quote unquote easy or easy to bet for compared to week one. I guess week two looks incredibly hard overall.
Yeah, last weekend we had a lot of spots. We could find. We ended up doing pretty well. I don't remember what my record was. I guess I should have that, but we both did really well. I think I only lost one or two games.
Yeah, same here. I think I went 8-2 college football, 2-0 in free plays. We gave out a bunch of winners on the show last week.
Yep.
Including our dog of the day, Rutgers.
Yep.
Plus 7.5, I think it was.
Great play. They won outright.
Yeah, won outright. I mean, Greg Schiano, like I said, he's always got his team ready. I mean, let me tell you, we were sweating it because he screwed up a couple plays on the 2-point conversions and going on fourth down, but all that matters is the final score.
Right. You also had a lean Notre Dame who had the lead at halftime.
Yeah.
And ended up losing, but they covered.
We had Georgia.
Had Georgia. You gave out Georgia at Alabama first half. I think that was my top play.
Yeah.
And all of those hit. So keep it here for this weekend. We're going to talk about two games. Let me before we get to that, sign up for VIP with Anthony at PoundedSports.com. He's got a great website with easy cart and check out. And you can also sign up with VIP with me on Twitter at John Santucci VIP. And let's take a look at some of these games. They head down to Orlando in the Bounce House. UCF hosting Louisville. And the Bounce House, a tough place to play, Anthony. This is in your backyard, too.
You're pretty much
an hour away from there.
About 2.5, 3 hours, but
two and a half hours.
Just I-4 all the way down. It's USF, UCF. I mean, I'm closer to USF, and that's how I know about these YMCA trash kids. So they can't play for squat.
That was a top play too for both.
Yeah,
of us
BYU week. -11 was the 10-unit bomb. Was the best bet, easiest play of the weekend, and playing in Raymond James. So I mean that worked out really well. But
BYU's got an interesting game too against Baylor this week. But we'll get into that later.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I know. Tonight, UCF 6-point favorite at home versus Louisville. Louisville lost to
Syracuse. That was another one of ours. I had a +4.5 as a 2-unit play, and it went all the way up to +5.5. So, I mean, I was kind of getting worried. I was like, according to line movement, but Syracuse, they took care of business fairly easy. So that was a nice one too. I mean,
right. I went back and I watched a little bit of that game. I think I texted you, said you should watch a little bit of this game because Louisville was never in the game. Never. Yeah. Syracuse dominated them from start to finish. And they got a nice young quarterback, a dual threat kid. I think his last name is Schrader. You guys would like watching this kid play. And then Syracuse played tough defense. They were able to move the ball at will against Louisville. Louisville tonight coming in. I don't get the lines a little bit freaky. UCF, they won their opener, right?
Yeah, they beat the hell out of South Carolina State. That doesn't really – I mean, I basically just throw it out. That was like a warm-up, in my opinion. I mean, UCF compared to South Carolina State, that's just no comparison. Right. Louisville, they just got annihilated by Syracuse. But they're not going to be playing a Syracuse-type defense in this UCF. So they're going to put some points on the board. They have a stud at quarterback who got shut down last week for 2 interceptions, and it was just stopped. He was shut down completely. I do expect points on the board by Louisville. There's no way they're going to be shut down tonight. UCF's defense is just not that good. But UCF's offense is, I got to say, is probably a little bit better than Louisville's, but home field advantage and the more experience, the better team, Louisville lost a bunch of players. I just cannot go at Louisville in the spot, especially being on the road again.
UCF returns a lot of starters too. Like you said, though, they don't play out of defense. You got sitting a total of 61.5. That's a lot of points. When it gets into the 60s, you and I get a little hesitant about playing the over. But I kind of like the over in this one. I like the side a little bit better here. I think I think Louisville might be a little overrated, but you always say, Anthony, don't overreact to week one.
No, week one is the bunch of unknowns. Like everybody loved Ohio State, and I kept looking. I'm like, why do they like Ohio State so much? It's a 3-score spread versus a top team. Nobody really considers Notre Dame as a top team too much, especially with the loss of their coach. But Notre Dame is still a pretty decent team, and that was a quality loss by Notre Dame. So even though they lost in Columbus, that's a quality loss in my opinion, and they kept it close. And like you said, they were up at halftime. I can't not go with UCF in this game. I'd rather lose with UCF than bet Louisville, and right out of the gate they're down 14-0, and then I'm like, that's what I thought. So, but I do think that it's going to go back and forth. I don't think it's the type of game that people think that UCF is just going to control the game. I do think Louisville's going to put some points on the board, keep it close at halftime. I think they're going to keep it close overall, and I think UCF wins this between 7 and 10 points. I don't think it's that huge, big of a win at all. I think Louisville does keep it close.
Yeah, I think it'll be closer than people expect. Will they cover 6? 6 is an okay number. It was 5.5. It's up to 6 now. UCF has a decent quarterback too. This kid, that John Reese Plumlee, was very efficient last week. Threw for over 300 yards. I think I'm leaning towards UCF and -6, just because they have home field advantage and the bounce house is a tough place to play. Louisville does have, like you mentioned, a good quarterback, Malik Cunningham. Didn't have a good game last week, turned the ball over a couple times. But
that Syracuse defense is for real. It's understandable. Now, he's not going to be playing nowhere near like a Syracuse defense in Central Florida. So expect him to put some points on the board.
Right. And I'll be looking at Syracuse for this tomorrow's game as well, too. And how do you feel about the total? 61.5, a lot of points, but
I love the over.
These teams could easily get there.
Someone's most definitely 1,000% is going to be in the 30s, and 1,000% is going to be in the high 20s, low 30s.
Yep.
This could easily be a 38-31 type game, a 38-29 type game. I'm all over the over, but I do like the side a little bit more, just like you yourself.
All right. Then the other game we got tonight, we got Boise State at New Mexico. And Boise State really looked terrible. And you and I kind of we were kind of like on the Boise State bandwagon a little bit last year. They had a much better team. This year, I don't overreact to week one, but they looked terrible, Anthony.
Yeah, they did. You had the under in that game, and that was the perfect call versus Oregon State. Is Oregon State that much better? Or is Boise that much worse? Or do they just have a bad game? So we're kind of going to find out tonight, as New Mexico is one of the bottom of the barrel type teams. But I hate Lance. 3 scores on the road.
Yeah.
I would lean the dog, but this is a 1,000% stay away for me.
It is to me too. I lean New Mexico. I like the dog here. New Mexico beat up Maine. That's an FCS school. They're not that good. It's they had to come all the way across the country and play in New Mexico. New Mexico, very efficient, though. They were able to run the ball. They ran for over 250 yards. But again, it was Maine. Yeah. And defense, we don't really know how good New Mexico's defense is. They shut down Maine. But like I said, it doesn't matter. But Boise State, I think Oregon State really is a good team.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they'll be towards the top in the Pac-12. And the Boise State, man, I just don't know what to make of them yet this year. Was it Bachmeyer? Bachmeyer, the quarterback, did not have a good game, and he's a kid that returns. Played last year. And do they put it together? I don't know. I'm not laying 3 scores like you said though, but
Yeah, definitely lean New Mexico, but overall, it's a stay away, and it's more of an evaluation game
yeah.
and see how these two teams come out. I mean, like we said, week one, kind of like a throw it out. Even the Boise, they played a higher class team in Oregon State,
Yeah.
which a lot of people probably say Oregon State they suck, in exact words. But Oregon State has gotten better in the past couple of years, and I think if they stay healthy, they could win more games than expected.
Yeah, Boise State was down 24-0, like right off the bat in that game, and I really liked Oregon State in that game. I didn't play it like you said. I played the total, and this has got a very low total. I don't like that. I don't think this one will stay under. I would probably lean over in this game. 44 points, not a lot, and like I said, I don't think either of these teams are really as good defensively as their last games would suggest.
No. I think both teams just run it over each other. I think New Mexico even puts more points expected. I mean, I don't know what their team total is, but maybe their team total over is a solid play. I mean, it's probably like 14. Can't be that much. Can't be that bad. So if it's 24,
I'll get that for you right now. I like that play. I'm looking.
It might be 13.5, 14, which I think that's a possible play depending on what the number is.
It is 13.5, like you said.
There you go.
They got Boise State at 30.5. So
yeah, see, I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but I'm pretty damn good with numbers, and I just divide it by 2 and take the spread. But 13.5. I think if you had to put a gun to my head, I think that would probably be the one play I would take.
Yeah, I would too. I'm right there with you. I think they can get 14 on Boise State.
Yeah.
However, like you said, this is a stay away. It's a learning experience. Is Boise State going to come out and be like, we sucked last week, we really need to pound this week and just pound New Mexico into the
dirt? Happen.
Yeah,
could happen.
So we'll find out a little bit more about these two teams, but right now the safest play looks to be the New Mexico team total over 13.5. Let's get to the big boys on the block, Anthony. And we got number 1 Alabama heading into Austin to play the Longhorns. Horns up or horns down. I love Alabama in this game. I don't think these two teams are not in the same class.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. But I think this is the upset alert. I think not Texas winning overall, but I think this could be the dagger for the sports book where they just make a crap load of money. Because think about it. Who in their right mind is actually putting money on Texas plus 20, not even 3 touchdowns, outside of people that actually live in Texas? Who would actually bet that? Everybody in the country, everybody and their sister, their grandma, their newborn is rolling with Alabama.
Yeah.
That is a red flag. That is a red flag. I will lean Texas plus 3 touchdowns just for that fact, but it's a stay away. I cannot touch this. I mean, if you really think about it, it's probably like 95% of people that would take Alabama, and 5% only that would take Texas are the people that live in Texas.
Yep.
So I'd be very wary. Yeah, I'd be very, very wary on this type game because it just looks way too easy. And what did we learn last year specifically? If it looks too easy, go the other way.
Yep. So you still got Bijan Robinson running the ball in Texas, man. That dude's a stud. Can they control Alabama front 7, man?
Oh, Alabama's disgusting. It's sick.
It's like
it wouldn't surprise me if Alabama wins this by 3 touchdowns, or it wouldn't surprise me if they win by 69-0.
Yeah, I agree.
But I just can't touch it because I've been burned so many times in my life on these type games that I learned that don't touch it.
Last season, you and I, they couldn't cover versus even in the first half. I mean, normally Alabama first halves are gold.
Yeah, 2 years ago they went 12-0. 2 years ago.
It's like it was like an ATM machine.
It really was. I mean, the sports book was going 14.5. I mean, they were even putting the hook on the one number. 17.5, 21.5. Yeah, we want you to bet it. And they still cover.
Yeah.
So
I got this at 20. So 20.5.
It's still 20 and a half. It depends on what book you have. My book has 20. I know a couple of U.S. books has 20.5. it all depends on where you're betting. Just, I mean, if you're really betting this game, get that 20, even if you got to buy the hook. But be safe and be wary of. It just looks way too easy. It just looks way too easy.
Yeah, the line is they want you to take Alabama.
100%. Who would? Who didn't?
Yeah, and they know maybe Texas is tough at home, and they can keep it to a 2-score game, 14,
did Texas,
17.
Did Texas play last week? They played last week, right? Texas.
They. I
don't think they. If they did, I don't think they were that impressive.
I'll give that to you right now. I just don't have it with me just yet. It is. All right, hold on a second. Okay, here we go. They played Louisiana Monroe and won 52-10.
Yeah, see, so yes, they scored 52 points, but I also look at they gave up 10 points to that type
team. Louisiana Monroe, right?
So it depends if maybe they might have had their third stringers in at that time, but I do look at that stuff. I know it sounds stupid, but hey, Louisiana Monroe scored against the first squad of Texas. I mean, that's impressive. So what do you think Alabama's going to do to them? But yeah, I'm going to go bold. I'm going to change my lean to a free play. Texas. I'm going to buy the hook to plus 21.
There you go. You heard it here. I mean, I don't dislike it. I'm like
I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate it. Don't get me wrong. I hate it, but I refuse to lose. It just looks way too good to be true.
It looks way too easy. Way too easy, folks. So yeah, because I've already got suckered into this one, first half and full game. So,
and I'm not going to say his name, and don't say his name either, because I know who you're talking. I know who I'm talking about. The biggest jinx in the world is on Alabama. That's all I'm going to say.
I hate that. Why do I always put I got to wait until he gives out his play, and then
you got to wait. I mean, but you know what? I know why you did it, and you made the right move. You 20.5. I better hurry up before it gets to 21, 21.5.
Yep.
Yeah. I can't believe it's still 20.5.
Yeah.
But let's not forget what happened last night. The Bills were minus 2.5 the entire time.
Yeah, we should talk about that a little bit, because all that money came in on the Rams, and the line never moved.
Never moved.
That was a sure sign that, you thought that, you'd think that, the money would tick down to where it might be a pick 'em, Yeah,
you would think. I mean,
yeah.
I said the first thing I said to myself when I saw the line, and I've been watching the line, I just blur right through it because I can't really pay attention too much on a game like that. It was a toss-up. Going into the game, it was a toss-up. I don't care who you are, what you say. That game was not easy to pick.
Nope.
I looked at the line, and I said, first of all, why are the Bills favored? They shouldn't be favored. The Super Bowl champions are at home.
Yep.
I mean, that should be enough. They should be -3.
Yep.
The trends, I mean, you got a full squad. The only person that's not there is Beckham, and you got a couple defensive linemen that are Von Miller's not there. But the Bills were favored in Los Angeles. And then I really looked into it, and I looked at Stafford's injury. He has not practiced. He has not played one snap of preseason.
Yep.
He's got a few new receivers on. He's going to be rusty, and I thought he'd be rusty in the first half, which I was right. But he was also rusty in the second half. He has no timing with his new receivers. Yeah. And Josh Allen just ate it up, and it was like Pac-Man. I mean, he was just eating up the Rams like it was nothing. He ate that defense like there was nothing.
Yep. And
so I'm like,
he had no offensive line protection.
No,
Stafford.
I literally, I mean, if you ask my clients, I specifically said it in the play. We're basically fading Stafford at this point.
Yeah.
Because he has no timing with his receivers. He's probably playing injured. And God knows what else. And all he knows is Cooper Kupp. Everyone else is brand new. Did Allen?
Yeah, that's our guy, longtime barroom guy, Cliff Victoria. He lives down your neck of the woods. He's in Sarasota.
Okay, not too
very
far.
Sharp. All the barflies are sharp football wise. I got suckered into because the trends and they're at home, and I should have taken. I mean, it's stupid because I own a lot of shares of Bills in fantasy football. I should have spent prime time rooting on my fantasy team. But
you've been beating yourself up on it since last night. I keep telling you,
yep.
Stop. It wasn't a bad play.
Yep.
It was not a bad play. It was a toss-up. If
Yeah.
you would have went into that game and Stafford was healthy or anything, it was more of a coin toss.
Yeah.
And I had the Bills, and I'm talking about from winner standpoint. It was not easy to pick the Bills.
Right. And without the left tackle, I should have known. And then Von Miller's not there anymore. In fact, he was on the other team in this game.
I saw the sack. I was like, Von Miller's on the Bills.
Yeah. Yep. So that was a bad miss by me. But it was 1 or 2 units for me. So I'm not gonna.
It was nothing
I
crazy.
should beat myself up for it. So my prop pick hit in my free video, which was the over rushing yards for Josh Allen. But
I got bit by the bad beat bug. I had Singletary under 12.5 longest run, and the dude goes 13 yards. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? 13? At least just break it out for 20 plus. Make myself feel better.
Yeah, I drafted. I got a few shares of Josh Allen in fantasy this year, so I'm pretty happy about that. So just came around where he was the best player on the board. Second, third rounds. All right, we got one more game we're going to talk about. We got the Fighting Irish at home versus Marshall, and again, this is Marshall is not in the same class as Notre Dame, not even close. So
they're a run first. They're a run first offense.
Right.
So Notre Dame pretty much just has to load the box.
Yep.
Guard a couple receivers, and that's it.
Yep. I'm all over Notre Dame. I've got my bet in already. I think I got it at 20.
Yeah, I got to place this. This looks. I mean, it's another one that looks too good to be true, but this is a different type game.
Right. Because Marshall isn't Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
Texas is a Big 12 team. Marshall, I don't even know what conference they're in there. American Patriot Conference or American.
Dude, there's so many conferences. I still haven't wrapped my brain into football mode, and I'm still calling baseball players into football players.
I think Notre Dame will be up this much at halftime.
Yeah, I agree. I'd be shocked anything less than 17 at halftime. I'd be shocked.
Yeah. Let's see. We want to give away a free play before we get out of here. It's just about that time. I want to say thanks to all the Barflies who tuned in. We've been getting some good views post on demand for this podcast. So any questions from the chat room, give it to us now. And Anthony, should we give out a free play?
Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to go with Notre Dame minus 20 and a half. That'll be my free play. But I feel pretty confident about it. I think it's an easy play.
I'm going to go with UCF minus 6. I think that is, especially for tonight, out of all the games, that's definitely my free play. For tomorrow, honestly, I can't put my finger on it. I got Air Force locked in at 16.5. It's currently 17.5, but that's the only game I really got locked in so far.
Yeah, I locked that in at 17 or 16.5, and that's my top play tomorrow. I gave it out to clients a long time ago, like last weekend or after, I think Sunday. I was like, Air Force just dominant in Colorado, not look like crap. It's the same state rivalry. You got the Air Force base in Colorado, and the Buffaloes just did not look good. All right. Let's see. Any questions from the chat? Nope. They don't board bets. Cliff's not betting. Cliff, you need to open up a DraftKings account and sign up with Anthony at Pounded Sports. Actually, he's in Florida. I don't know what they have in Florida. They don't have DraftKings.
They don't have anything.
Right. You got to go to your local.
Yes.
Right. He says, if I was sport betting, I'd always be here. Well, this is the right place to be for Anthony and Aldo Gandia. We're signing off, and we'll see. I'm here tomorrow with Sean Higgs, so want to wake up in the morning at 10 a.m. Central and see some. We got an excellent guest tomorrow. Anthony's got prior engagements. So, all right, for Anthony, you guys say at poundedsports.com, sign up there for his VIP. One last comment. Florida not good for sports betting.
Oh no, that's not good. They had sports betting, and then they took it away.
Right?
And,
yeah, they did. I remember that.
And when they do get it back, and if you do live in Florida, do not bet with the Hard Rock. It is the worst app I've ever played with.
That was the only one they had too, right?
That was the only one.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, open an offshore account. That's the only thing I'm going to say.
Right on. All right. So for Anthony Inglese, proud of sports.com, this is Tooch signing off at the Barroom Network. Good night.
And I'm the team captain. He's the preview, and I'm the main attraction.
Unstoppable, unconquerable, on top of the world, accomplishing the impossible. Unstoppable, unconquerable, on top of the world, accomplishing the impossible.
Invincible hustle, mighty desire to conspire to transpire.